This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Kane is in the building.
Yeah! Alright, the show goes on all night. Till the morning we dream so long. Anybody ever wonder when they will see the sun up? Just remember when it comes up, the show goes on. Alright.
Talking Heads with Naughty and MJ is brought to you by Burger King, Fine Threads, KFC, Naughty Johnny's, Prince Masters, and Tropical Gyros.
Have you ever had the feeling that you was being had? Don't that shit that make you mad? They treat you like a slave, put chains all on your soul and put whips up on your back. They be lying through their teeth, hope you slip up off your path. I don't switch up, I just laugh, put my kicks up on they desk, unaffected by they threats. Then get busy on they see, that's how that Chi-Town made me. That's how my daddy raised me. That glittering may not be gold, don't let nobody play me. If you are my homeboy, you never have to pay me. Go and put your hands up, when times is hard you stand up. LUP the man, cause a brand that the fans trust. So even if they ban us, they'll never slow my plans up. The show goes on all night, till the morning we dream so long. Anybody ever wonder when they will see the sun up? Just remember when
You've got it locked and loaded to the Friday, May 15th edition, the May 15th edition of Talking Heads. Your boy Naughty along with MJ and your company right up until 6 p.m. And happy Friday, everybody. It is the weekend. And like I always tell you, man, all work and no play makes you a boring person, and all play and no work makes you broke. You got to find a happy medium. Well, the weekend is part of the happy medium. So we're going to get you into the weekend, on a good note. Yes, we're going to do the weekend review. MJ's going to join us shortly. But like I said, we got lots to talk about. And if you want to chime in and be part of the conversation, here's how.
Here's how you can become a talking head. Brought to you by BTC.
Text lines powered by BTC, 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. Phone lines open in New Providence, 323-6232, 325-4259, 325-4316. Toll free in any one of the Family Islands, 242-300-5720, 242-300-5720. Stream us live, take us wherever you want to go. GuardianTalkRadio.com. That's GuardianTalkRadio.com. Cable channel 969, BTC Flow channel 612. That's how you get it in. That's how you get it on for fresh news, smart talk all day. Right here on Guardian Radio 96. Definitely the headlines.
It's time for Headliners. Everything that's making headlines in the 242. Brought to you by the Fine Threads.
And here's what's blazing up the pages of the Nassau Guardian News and Views. It matters since 1844. A man convicted of indecent assault of 9-year-old girl. PLP supporters in Long Island disappointed, worried that developments on the island may stop. Pintard to stay on as leader of the FNM. Thompson surprised by low turnout. Really, Mr. Thompson? You surprised by the low turnout and you was bragging about 200,000 and now you surprised by that? Man, come on, man. I think you know a lot more than... Anyway, let me leave that alone. PM disappointed by low turnout. And obviously, we will bring you up today when MJ joins us with the new cabinet appointments today. Obviously, cabinet being sworn in, ministers being sworn in. And via the Senate, recently ousted MP for Freetown, Mr. Wayne Monroe, via the Senate, I understand is now the Attorney General. So we'll see. And we'll break down all the appointments coming up for you in short order. But like I said, lots to talk about in regards to that. And I'll be honest with you. I had to take a little break today. some valid points, some cray points. But I'll be honest with you, I had to take a little break. And I want you all to go along with me on this little break now, because I need your input on this. Because big part of my childhood, my grandpa would take me to Mortimer's Candy Kitchen. All right? And I had to go hit up Mortimer's today, buddy. Had to get me a snow cone, grape and red mixed. Had to get me some dog peanuts. Had to get me some coconut candy. Had to get me some peanut brittle. What's your favorite item from Mortimer's? Because growing up, they took care of everybody. They got still some of the best candies going today. And the peanuts got to be dark. I want to hear from all the dark roasted lovers who like their peanuts dark. Let me say who like them all like boiled with no coloration. Come on, man. That ain't no peanut. You may as well eat them at the ground. Don't even roast them. Because if you go roast them, they need to be dark. So chime on in and let me know. But boy, hey, once I got my snow cone and my dark roast, man, I was off the chain. Back in the race. And then obviously, you step out of Mortimer's, you got a ton of people talking to you about politics. And like I said, we got to get back to being Bahamian. All right? I mean, I look at it like sports. 24-hour rule. Run on about it for 24 hours, get it out your system, then on to the next one. Because now we got 5 years ahead of us. We still have to be Bahamians in this. We have to work together. And maybe we need to try some different approaches moving forward. Some things need to change. Still, in the name of progress. Looking at some of them cabinet appointments too. Scratch my head on a couple of them. All right, let's see. Good afternoon, Naughty. Why give a loser a cabinet post and the backbenchers don't get no cabinet? Watch out. It come in. It would be an upset in the PA3. Trust me before. Well, listen, that's a hard situation. I mean, your cabinet is Gussie made to begin with. All you could do basically now is shuffle and play for that one seat freed up by Mr. Monroe. And he's coming back in as Attorney General. So, Minister of National Security may be up for grabs. But, you can't create more portfolios. Your cabinet is Gussie May already. So you keep an eye on it. At some point, there may be some unrest. I mean, let me look at it. Let me put it to you like this. You got a two-time winner in South Beach, and Mr. Bacchus Rowe brings a lot to the table. I don't think he should be a backbencher anymore. He needs to be in the cabinet. A few others need to be in the cabinet. A few others need to be kept way the heck away from cabinet forever and ever, amen. It's a slippery slope they're on now, Texter. Some feelings, may get hurt. Some feathers may get ruffled. That's not out of the realm of possibility. It's not. And like I say, it's 5 more years to go. So we got to remain in this as Bahamians. And I think we need to be a little more objective moving forward in the sense that we need to have more sensible, mature conversations. And PRPs, FNMs, and CNIs need to be able to dialogue as well as undecided folks in a different way. Just keep it straight to the politics. Don't make it personal. Because we lose sight of what really matters. The issues that we start talking about get put to the side because of personal mudslinging. We still need to know we are 141 million men from beaches and parks. We still need to know, how much was used out of the Treasury for campaigning allegedly. Still need answers on a lot of things. And moving forward, we're going to need answers.
Good afternoon.
I was just waiting on you and I was sharing with everybody how much I enjoyed my snow cone from Mortimer's and my dark peanuts. and I still can't get over. Yeah, I still can't get over peanuts. People who like them like light peanuts, like hardly roasted. Don't roast them at all. Eat them straight out the ground. That's what.
Oh no, I like them like medium roasted. That's not like completely burnt, but not that light stuff too. Yeah, it does taste a bit raw.
Wow, when I hear text like this, though, this is really make me shake my head. Is this where we're really at in 2026? Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. I'm just waiting on my daughter to turn 18 so I can move to the U.S.
No.
There, I'd rather deal with ICE than deal with what's coming with this next government.
No.
Oh, my.
Why are we in this frame of mind? No.
No.
So much work to do in this country. I agree it's a lot, but you know what? At the end of the day, I think that if we could kind of like reestablish our cohesion as Bahamians, there's a lot that we can get done. Speaking of cohesion, we see the cabinet is forming up, looking kind of similar, but a little bit different.
Yeah, boy, I'm telling you.
Similar, but a little different.
And you can't. And Mr. Cooper, ago, I didn't try one you recently. Mr. Cooper, what's going on?
Oh, you mean the new move to education? Which is
Man.
So I've been watching it, I'm happy to see everybody getting their letters of appointment, so forth and so on. I did not honestly expect much change. So there are going to be persons out there that says, oh, it's exactly the same. But that's kind of like what we were promised, right? No reset, just keep everything more or less going in the same direction that it's going in. So I expected that most people would be returned to their ministries to finish the progress that was started. And so far, it's looked like that. You have Fred Mitchell, who's going back to foreign affairs. Has he ever done any other ministry? Has he ever done any other ministry? I don't think so. Anyway,
he believes that's his personal ministry, the Ministry of Affairs and Foreign Affairs.
He loves foreign affairs. Maybe that's his area of expertise. Maybe he got to use a little movement. He's back in foreign affairs. We have Minister Halkitis. This was no surprise, who is our new Minister of Finance. I guess the Prime Minister has just put the portfolio completely in Mr. Halkitis' hands, because everybody knows that he's been doing, like a lot of heavy lifting, being Minister of Economic Affairs anyway. So that makes sense. Mr. Monroe, who lost his seat to the up-and-coming star, Mr. Lincoln Deal. Mr. Monroe is back in the cabinet, through the Senate, and he's our new Attorney General, which is something that I suspected would happen. And I must say, I think that he will like this role a lot better. I'm not making any promises on performance, right? But I think he will like this role much better. I remember when we spoke to him a few years ago, and this was where I thought he ended up in national security, and they put Ryan Pinder as the AG. I thought Mr. Monroe would have been the AG in the first iteration of this Davis administration. But now he's there, and I think that, just on his personality, he's probably better suited there. It'll be interesting to watch the way that this ministry, office functions. People have often said the crime part of it, 18 on that run, is more like the white-collar stuff that he deals with. And so it'll be interesting to see how, the changes that come about with Mr. Monroe.
It'll be interesting to see you get some Ministry of National Security.
Yeah. We haven't even gotten to that yet. I know that the ceremony is ongoing and perhaps they have named that person. But up to the time that I had to leave to come and do this show, I hadn't seen the announcement from Minister of National Security. We did get Glenys Hanna-Martin as Minister of Tourism. And this is an interesting switch. So the Prime Minister did a switch with the DPM, Chester Cooper, and Minister Glenys Hanna-Martin. He put Chester in education, Hanna-Martin in tourism. This is an interesting move. Now, a lot of people are going to look at the DPM taking on that education, that heavy portfolio as kind of like a demotion. But I think it gives him some opportunities as well, right? Just on the surface of it, it gives him some opportunities. Although with all of the work that Hanna-Martin was doing and the reforms that they introduced very late in the term, the amendments to the laws, I thought when we talk continuation, no reset, that this would be one of the positions that wouldn't get touched. We get to see someone function in this position for 10 years and see if we can make a difference, see if we one, singular focus and staying on that path. But no, the Prime Minister made a change there. Now, another minister...
I can see the Prime Minister right now. You have to deal with Belinda.
Belinda
So I ain't for
Wilson.
that no more. You got to deal with
Someone
Belinda.
asked him that. Someone asked him that today. Like, are you ready for Belinda? Because you better be ready. You can't come, half slunking because she's serious about her business. So if you don't get up to speed and get up to date and get on the same page fast, you could find yourself in some problems, right? But I'm trusting, and based on his response, it looks like Chester Cooper, the DPM, understands the lay of the land. He has not personally experienced it, but he's about to experience it, and I'm sure he's going to be a fast learner. He needs to be, literally. I think they're calling it the Ministry of Education, Science, and Technology, which I'm sure is a nod to STEM and STEAM programs. But I don't know why you pulling science out of education. I get the technology part of it. Maybe they should have just gone with education and innovation. I think that would have covered everything, because obviously there is going to be an emphasis on, science, technology, engineering, math, and hopefully arts. So we'll see what he can do with that ministry. Minister Darville is back as the Minister of Health and Wellness. And I think even in the people in the room today were like, oh boy, oh boy, here we go again. Like the applause is just a little bit tepid. But, they have this hospital that's supposed to be going up, not too far down the road. And so many things undone. It is a mess. Now, can he clear?
Yeah. Let's
do it?
Let's go to the phone lines real quick. Talking Heads.
Hey, MJ Naughty. Yeah, I'm listening for those cabinet appointments.
Good afternoon.
How y'all doing?
Very good. Very good.
Great. Yeah. So just listening is.
No problem. We're going through them right now.
Okay.
Well, let's hit you with the ones you may have missed. We got Glennis Hannah Martin as the new Minister of Tourism. Let's go back up to the
beginning, because there is an order of seniority. So and I didn't see the initial swearing-in ceremony. So if I get these first four mixed up, you guys don't kill me for it. I'll go back and watch it later on. But this is my assumption based on how things were in the past. We have the Deputy Prime Minister, Chester Cooper, Minister of Education. I'm going to assume that Mr. Mitchell is the number 3 guy. So then you have Fred Mitchell, who is the Minister of Foreign Affairs. You have Mr. Michael Halkitis, who is now officially and fully the Minister of Finance. And then we have Mr. Wayne Monroe, who is now our Attorney General, and he comes in through the Senate. He's also a senator. Today, the ones that I saw today, we have Mrs. Glennis Hannah Martin. She is our new Minister of Tourism. When this was announced, like the whole room, the applause was loud, and it was, very, it's like everybody was very impressed with this particular move. Like, people were kind of triumphant, like, yes, she's got tourism. Like, so there was a lot of excitement around this announcement in the room today with Ms. Hannah Martin becoming our new Minister of Tourism. I noticed that the investments in aviation was not a part of that title, at least not that I saw today. Maybe we'll get some adjustment later on, or maybe those 2 areas were dropped altogether or added to another ministry, but she was announced as the Minister of Tourism. So that was exciting news in the room. We have Dr. Michael Darville, who returns as the Minister of Health and Wellness. No surprise there. We have then Minister Clay Sweeting, who returns as the Minister of Works and Family Island Affairs. So, yeah, no surprises there. Then we have Minister Keith Bell, who was announced as the Minister of Housing and Land Reform. And I don't recall the land reform being a part of it before. Just correct me if I'm wrong. Can't recall, but that's his title, Minister of Housing. Before I joined the show, we saw Minister JoBeth Colby Davis. She was announced as the Minister of Energy, Utilities, and Aviation. So energy, utilities, and aviation. You may recall that aviation was attached to the tourism ministry, well, at least to Mr. Cooper, who had, tourism, investments, and aviation. Well, now Ms. JoBeth Colby Davis has energy, utilities, and aviation. And the utilities part is different, right? Utilities part is different because does that mean that the Water and Sewage Corporation now falls under that as well? Did they, combine?
Yeah, I'm wondering what does that really mean? What does that
Yeah.
encompass?
Because when you say utilities, I mean, that would include electricity, that would include water, and that previously would have been under the Ministry of Works. And with utilities moving to this ministry, what does works entail?
Nadi, can you hear me?
Good to get it. Good afternoon. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr.
Yeah, who's housing?
Mr. Keith Bell. He's the Minister of Housing and Land Reform. So no major change there.
No, in tourism thus far.
Right. And like I said, right, if you're going to say we need more time, don't reset, then you can't do a bunch of mixing up with your ministers, at least not out the gate, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to be, stirring things up too much. Let me continue with the last two that I got. And then, of course, during the break, I'll check for more. But we also saw Minister Mario Bolag returned as Minister of Youth and Sports. And this is interesting as well, because you may recall previously wasn't it Youth, Sports, and Culture?
Correct. That culture portion got dropped, so we'd like to see who picks that up.
Right. And wasn't the Junkanoo part under the culture?
Correct. So I'm thinking that's like the only maybe new position that this administration may create separate and apart. Because like I said, his hands are full. Gussie made cabinet.
This is going to be crazy, right? Because if it's anywhere, every single MP except for Mr. Monroe was returned. And that was already what we would consider a Gussie May cabinet. And then you have a lot of MPs now. They're not going to be their second run. So I'm sure a few of them are potential, path into the cabinet. But where's the room? There's no room. If you want any kind of a piece of a site of a backbench at all, anything that just looks like the whole legislature isn't completely captured by the executive, you can't throw everybody in the cabinet. But I'm sure there are some really hungry people who thought, well, this time, if I get straight and win, I'd be in that cabinet. And where's the space? There's no space. We're seeing the same faces, basically the same names. So just the last one, we also saw Mr. Jomo Campbell returned as Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resource.
Interesting. So, again,
it is interesting. And it is good in a way, because I don't want to hear what happened was I didn't have enough time because I had to clean up from the job is 5 years. That's what you get, 5 years.
Yeah.
You made your case to the Bahamian people. You said, listen, we came off that pandemic. Things we didn't get it all done. Things were a little rough in the beginning, but we got it rolling now. The last guys did X, Y, Z, but, progress. And we just need a little more time. Don't reset. We didn't see a lot of resetting. We see most of these people go back. And so we see that there's no excuses. No excuses. Mr. Campbell, need those eggs now. It ain't like you picking this up from someone else. You're picking it up from yourself. We need those eggs. The interesting thing, like I said, was the switch between the Minister of Education and the Minister of Tourism.
Well, we need better labels for the eggs if we don't get the eggs.
We saw the switch between the Minister of Education and Minister. Well, this is very curious turn for me. We know that Mrs. Hannah Martin has a particular stance when it comes to these cruise lines and the proliferation of these private islands. So for Bahamians that are particularly concerned about that, about, Bahamians losing their stake in this tourism pie, I'm sure this is a welcome change. I'm sure they're looking at it and saying, you know what? Yeah, because Glenys Getz said, Hannah Martin kind of understands what we're dealing with here, and she's not so quick to go ahead and greenlight or, give her approval to some of these private keys. So there are some people that are going to look at this particular change and say, well, you know what? Let's roll with this, because this may actually be very, very good for the country.
But they say small axe chop down big tree. She's the perfect one to put people in their place when necessary.
Yes, but I don't want to say at the expense, but this came with the Deputy Prime Minister getting a portfolio that I'm sure not everybody's lining up to get. Education is a big one. It's heavy, it's complex, it's bureaucratic, it is a lot. And the way that you measure success there, it's not just with the students. You measure it with, your teachers. Are they happy? Do they feel properly compensated? That takes negotiation. But when it does come to the students, what does it look like? Are we going to be at the same national grade point average 3 years from now, 4 years from now? How do you measure like success if you don't see tangible, improvements in that national grade? Some heavy lifting to do, the DPM, but I think it presents a great opportunity because I think you have the people there that are willing to work with Mr. Cooper. And if they really get creative, I think he could, turn what many would consider a demotion for him, a personal demotion for him, into something really good for the country. We'll see.
All right, let's get some of these texts in. We still got the Ministry of Culture to be named. Bacchus Rose way into the cabinet is through culture. He needs to work on his attitude, though. Naughty and MJ, please tell the PM to pay the contractors. Is this Bahamas a real place?
No.
Hi, so what is so progressive about keeping the Minister of Health, who is responsible for the shambles at our public hospital? Absolutely heartbreaking to see our government is so tone deaf.
Can I tell you, I'm not knocking Dr. Darville at this moment, and I'm sure for him and his family, but there was a noticeable drop in enthusiasm when his name was called with Minister of Health again. Like, it was like, okay, we doing this again, okay? So he has a lot of work to do.
Naughty and MJ, I hope the brave administration gives new people contracts instead of the same people in your first term. This will be a start to real progress.
Yeah,
Naughty
absolutely.
and MJ, who leaked the GLAT exams? One was declared null and void yesterday.
Okay, like what a way to start, right? Day one, GLAT, null and void. That is what he's walking into a buzzsaw, the DPM is. I mean, wow.
Naughty and MJ, good afternoon. I understand they might put the Member of Parliament from Mount Moriah as the Minister of Social Services and Jamal Strawn as the Parliamentary Secretary and Foreign Affairs with his good friend, his boy.
Yeah, I think that was his previous role. I think he was Parsec in Foreign Affairs before. So again, not much difference. But remember now, the whole platform was we don't want to reset. And I'm sorry, same party. But if you do start shuffling these people around and talking about time to get acclimated and then bringing that particular minister's vision in, then you are doing a reset. So for most of these, to match the message and probably what he was thinking, the prime minister hasn't done a lot of shuffling around. Maybe he clipped a little piece of one ministry off and threw it somewhere else, things like that. Things that are problematic. Maybe he took culture away from you because we don't need you in Junkanoo no more. People wasn't feeling that. But for the most part, these ministers have remained in their ministry, which means that the ones that do change kind of stand out, right?
Man, a lot of spotlights for various reasons. Here's an interesting point, MJ. Good afternoon, MJ and Naughty. DPM Cooper is also a former teacher, so it would be good to see what he can do in education.
It will be very interesting to see what he could do. And, I'm sure that I'm sure he's already in his mind thinking of, innovative things that he can do. Will he be able to execute? That is going to be the big question. And like I said, just from the country part of it, we definitely, are hoping and wishing that he's successful. And I actually think he has, the potential to be. I do believe he has the potential to do some big things in education. But when you get into the party lens of it, it's very different being Minister of Tourism and Investments and, being responsible for that entire Bahamas brand globally, investments globally, than it is to be here at home as Minister of Education. I'm sorry, it is different. If we're being honest, it is different, especially for someone who has hopes one day of being Prime Minister himself. But like I said, sometimes you look at something and you think oh, wow, this is not as glitzy or as glamorous, but it gives you a big opportunity to do big things.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. What is the latest report on the King Air plane crash in waters off the coast of Florida? There are many suspects allegedly to be arrested by the U.S. federal agents. Keep an eye out on this. Allegedly, many by-elections to come.
Well, y'all already thinking by-elections? What? We just we need a hot minute to take a little break. But I did see that story last night. We watched it. Actually, the reporting that really gave us a lot of information came out of the U.S. itself, out of CBS News. And I'm so happy that everyone survived the plane crash. I know that there's a little bit of scandal as well that's happening with that plane crash. We're going to let that news play out. In the meantime, though, the Bahamian woman that ended up at the hospital, I think they were in Melbourne, our spot, Melbourne, which is a great place.
Yes, indeed. Pick up the Gregories.
Pick up the Gregories in Melbourne. She was smiling and talking about how she was on the raft for 5 hours, and then they saw the helicopter. She's like, "Oh Lord, we saved!" And I just love Bahamians because she was like so authentically Bahamian at that newscast, sitting in that hospital with all of the doctors and the rescuers around her, and they were, happy that she obviously is doing better. I think most of the other Bahamians came home. Maybe there are a few of them still in the U.S. and hospital in the U.S. So I'm just happy that everyone's okay. And I love when our Bahamian people just, be all Bahamian, even in the international media. I love it. And I'm happy that she's doing okay.
All right, let's get to the break, MJ. On the flip side of the break, I got some more texts to get to. We'll get to the calls. And like I said, we'll continue chopping it up because, like I said, lots to talk about, but some head scratches there for sure. Some real head scratches.
Two in the air for the father that's there. 3 in the air for the kids in the ghetto. 4 for the kids that don't want to be there. None for the trying to hold him back. 5 in the air for the teacher not scared to tell those kids that's living in the ghetto that the holding back that the world is theirs. Yeah, the world is yours. I was once that little boy, terrified of the world now.
Craving something bold, fresh, and unforgettable? Tropical Gyros is your flavor-packed escape. A Carib-Greek fusion born right here in Nassau. From juicy grilled salmon, chicken, and pork gyros to loaded bowls, fresh salads, wings, and more. There's something for every craving. Find Tropical Gyros at any of their locations, JFK Plaza, Rosetta Street, Port Lucaya Freeport, or their franchise spots on Prince Charles Drive, Soldier Road West, Delaport, and Carmichael Road. Tropical Gyros, not just good food, it's an experience.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
KFC has a bold new flavor you'll love. Introducing the all-new Barbecue Rap Star. We're talking a juicy chicken breast filet, fried to golden crisp perfection, covered in sweet and smoky barbecue sauce, topped with cheese, then wrapped in a delicious toasted tortilla with flavor in every bite. Go spicy or keep it original. Either way, it's a star for a reason. The new Barbecue Rap Star is the star of the menu at KFC Nassau. Get yours today at any KFC Nassau location.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio 0.9 FM.
It's time for The Buzz. What are you buzzing on? Brought to you by John's Shoes.
We're back at you on the Friday, May 15th edition of Talking Heads. Naughty and MJ and your company right up until 6 p.m. on this Friday Weekend Review edition. And right now, I think it's, let me get a time check for you. 4:45 p.m. is the time. All right. So any other additions since we went on break, MJ?
So I checked, and I think this is probably the last for today. Let me see. Okay, we also got an update with two more persons. So we have Pia Glover Roll, who is Minister of Labor and National Insurance. Slight variation. Before, she was Minister of Labor and Public Service, I believe, which, at the time, some persons did kind of criticize because of how the two factors interact with each other, being both the Minister of Labor and the Minister of the Public Service. So I'm glad to see that that's been separated, and now she has to deal with labor and national insurance. And we know just before the election, we got some really bad news concerning national insurance and its future solvency. So she's going to have to get in there right away and make some really tough but hopefully smart decisions, right? There are many of us Bahamians who have been paying into national insurance our entire life that we're facing insolvency with national insurance or extreme rate raises. That's not good. So Ms. Glover Roll is going to have to get in there and get on top of it and make it a manageable system for the Bahamian people. But yes, she's got labor, which she's familiar with, and national insurance. And then we go to Zane Lightburn, who was also announced today. He returns as the Minister of Environment and Natural Resources. You may recall that up until the passing of Mr. Von Miller, he served as Minister of State for that ministry, and then he was made interim, and then acting Minister of Environment and Natural Resources, and then we didn't hear anything else. Well, now he has the ministry officially Environment and Natural Resources. So he basically stayed put. So far, not a lot of major changes at all, right?
Let me
Just that big switch up between Chester and
That's Mr. Lightman, right? Okay, so congratulations, Mr. Lightman, on your two-peat in Yamacraw. I'd just like to let you know, there's a couple of credos I live by. One is no drill, no spill. We want boiled fish, not oil fish. Remember that one, all right? And don't put yourself dredge down there in Exuma, okay?
Oh, yeah.
All right, we got our eyes all over that Samson's Key situation. Please, let's
absolutely
make your tenure an impactful one when it comes to the environment and protecting our blue economy and our green economy and making sure that we're all right in the long run environmentally.
Interestingly enough, with Chester Cooper being not only the Member of Parliament for Exuma and Ragged Island, but he was Minister of Investment. So that situation felt particularly close to home for him. And now he's out of the mix. He's out. I mean, he's still the MP for Exuma, but practically he's out of that mix. So it'll be very interesting to see the position of whoever takes on investments, if they even have any, and maybe that's something they just did away with. But in terms of environment and natural resources, will be very interesting to see how Mr. Lightburn approaches this. This is a big fight in Exuma, and people are still very concerned about, how this government that is really supposed to be an environmentally friendly, climate change aware administration, see how they handle these things that can affect this country forever and forever. When you start talking about our seagrass that intersects with our carbon credits.
Breeding ground for conch, for grouper, and other marine life.
To see the stance that they take. I know that the Prime Minister, at least as far as I can tell, is not himself going to take up a ministry. We've seen this before. We saw the former the Prime Minister do the same thing, where he, right up until the end, and he had to assume something, himself did not have a ministry. So I don't know what this means. I don't know if this means he'll, be able to keep a better eye on everything else, or if this means he's going to be traveling a lot more in pursuit of those investments that's not listed now, and anything that we can get out of this new climate change regime. So we'll see. We'll see.
All right, MJ, I got one specifically for you. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. MJ, can you please help me? Bushcrack, mine gone. The day when headquarters closed, the grill is now turned off and the bars are closed. I can't get my $50 every day. My new empty phone number suddenly is out of service. We see him again in 5 years when the party will continue again.
You could
Help
imagine.
me.
Could you imagine, like, your belly's supposed to stay full from then from now to the next election, 2031?
And listen, and for all of y'all who allegedly got your little T-shirt with your alleged 200 in it, just do the math.
200
by 5 years is 10 cents a day.
Oh, wow.
You can't do nothing with 10 cents a day. Maybe,
Oh, wow.
maybe spin 10 times if you use a
Oh,
spinner
no.
on the penny spins.
You
but
know
that's
what?
it.
You need to stop. You need to stop. But I get the point. Like, that cannot be the long and short of it. Interestingly enough, one of the things that, made some headlines was Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper saying that this administration would focus on ownership in this term, right? So people wanted to see where that would take us. He's in a new position now. Don't know what it means. Don't know if it's philosophy that starts from the prime minister down and then he'll take that on personally. But yeah, we were promised more ownership. And so,
All right. They did not call culture, social services, transport, national security, immigration. Capital WMF question mark. MJ,
Yeah.
and what you serious? We get shaky back. Wow.
I find that the one that I find really interesting out of that list is national security, right? National security, and it may be bundled with immigration. It may be, don't know yet. But I find that, and when you talk like seniority, because there's a kind of seniority list happening here, to have gone through all of these and not see national security yet is really something. It is a head scratcher. Who is ultimately going to get that position, and why isn't it more senior than it appears to be at this moment? But
maybe through the Senate, possibly.
That is a
We'll see. So we got some
possibility, but
calls.
we will see. Okay.
Let's get to the phone lines. Talking
I want
heads.
to hear what Talking Heads.
Naughty.
Good
Hello.
afternoon. Good
Talking
afternoon.
Heads.
Hi.
How y'all do?
We're
What's
good. How are
happening?
you?
Yeah, good. I hear Naughty is doing some calculations on $200, alleged $200 in a T-shirt at 10 cents a day.
Yeah, now hold on.
Now
Hold on. Now, I know you're pretty good with political predictions, like I good with sports predictions. You are not good with crowd predictions. So before you tell me anything mathematical, I got to take it into context. Because you tell me 80,000 people was on the park, and I ain't see 80,000
listen
yet.
to me, Naughty. Naughty, listen to me. You said $200 is 10 cents a day. I am from
Over
the
5
Bamboo
years.
Town constituency.
Over 5 years.
It's alleged that somebody
I
was
said
giving
alleged.
out
Wait, go ahead.
$100, and that
Go
means
ahead.
they're only giving out 5
100,
cents a
5
day.
cents.
Well,
You know
hello?
what? You're just as bad as him.
No, I wake into his. I wake into him.
Oh my gosh!
Okay.
Could you guys stop?
And
Hold on.
it is-
200
it
over
is-
5
it
years
is-
is 10 cents a
People
day.
talk about people giving out vouchers and doing this.
Mm.
This is something vouchers was being giving out for the last 4 years. It might increase a little in the last 2-3 months. But people are getting vouchers.
Julian, do me a favor. Enjoy your win. Enjoy your excellent prediction, 29 to 12, which I think it was. Denial of the BS we've seen for the last 4.5 years, too. Let's keep it objective.
Something before you let me go. You think Red Fox going back to Canada yet?
I saw Rick Fox yesterday.
At the gas station, so he's right here. He's
And you know what Rick told me? Rick told me that you wanted to work for the CIA, but you couldn't see I or A, so now you're a political activist. Let's get to the next call.
Have a great weekend, caller.
All right. Naughty MJ, do you think that Chester Cooper's responsibility was stripped down?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And do not get me wrong, I love education. And I think that it's very important. And maybe perhaps if we look at this at a different angle, this is our prime minister's way of saying that that's how much they're going to bring to bear on education because it's that important, right? Which is good. But if you're talking about where Mr. Cooper was before, the billions of dollars that he bragged about bringing in, not only to Exuma, but the billions of dollars that were in the pipeline. He did a lot of negotiation with the cruise line, so much so that people were saying he's basically the minister of cruises, and had a particular stance on it. One stance before he was elected, and then kind of like softened after he got the actual position of Minister of Tourism. But then there were certain things that were done, like the connections made with Canada. Canada and Canadians are kind of sour on order right now, and the DPM was able to bring a lot more direct flights. He talked about hitting landmarks in tourism in terms of visitors. I'll just use visitors because we know that most of them are not stopover tourists in the traditional sense, but hitting that 12 million mark in terms of visitors, like there were benchmarks and goals and things that he appeared to be working on. His ministry also covered dealing with the hotel in Grand Bahama. Important, still need to know what's happening there. He famously talked about 120 million in the money in the bank, and then we saw it appears that the money is not in the bank, still probably not in the bank. So there were some missteps there for sure. But was he trying to really shake things up and do things differently with tourism? He was. And when you talk about continuing the progress, I mean, the switch that's happening, why is it happening? By all accounts, Ms. Hannah Martin, like I said, she brought laws and amendments, and it looked like, she had her hand on education, making plans to do things differently, opening the technical school. They opened campus. They did some things that people consider really good.
Breakfast program?
Breakfast program, things that were touted. And we talk about keeping it steady. Why was the switch made between these two ministries? And if we're going to be really honest about it, when asked if he, wanted to go to education, the DPM talked a little bit about how he and the prime minister, and they consult about all of the appointments, so forth. But his face was telling a different story, okay? His face told a different story. Because usually when we see these kinds of shuffles, you're saying you need some fresh eyes somewhere else, or someone ain't really doing something, so let's switch them up and see if we could get better results. Where did we need better results? Why this particular switch?
Let's get to the phone, get this calling before we get to the break. Talking Heads.
Naughty, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
MJ, good to hear from you too. I am glad that you all are on the air, because I will no longer listen to God's show anymore. He's smarter than everybody else.
Lord.
But thank you very much for your show. I just wanted the other caller to know that Rick Fox is actually an international investor and a businessman. So sure, he'll be going to Canada and other places. We ain't got to worry about Rick Fox spending $74 million on travel, though. That's what he needs to worry about. What we have going on is that the shuffle is a good shuffle, and I think Glenda Santa Martin will do well in tourism. Of course, education is a lot of pressure. Glenda is getting up in age. So I think they did a good job with that shuffle. I think Chester Cooper can bring some bright ideas. He's a brilliant businessman. I just hope Chester Cooper do this one thing. In some need for a whole year to do major repair. Why they don't bring some maintenance people on who could do some of these repair beforehand?
Exactly.
And then try your best to see if you can build a second story on some of these buildings, because most of these schools are flooded out, Naughty. Flooded out during the rainy season. So let's try see if we could build a second story and make that a hurricane shelter. Thank you, Naughty and MJ. I love you all.
Thank you. We love you too.
Well,
That's a great idea. And he actually introduced something else we didn't think about when it starts to come to school, starting all that stuff. Chester Cooper, You got to be on top of it. You don't want to hear it. Oh, boy.
All right, let's get to the break. Flip side of the break, the news is coming up. On the flip side of the news, we get a couple of these leftover texts, which is a whole ton of them. Get to a couple of calls, and then we'll talk sports. So keep it right where you got it. The Friday, May 15th edition of Talking Heads with Naughty and MJ continues right after this.
Don't that make you mad? They treat you like a slave. Put chains all on your soul and put whips up on your back. They be lying through their teeth. Hope you slip up off your path. I don't switch up, I just laugh. Put my kicks up on their desk, unaffected by their threats. Then get busy on their. See, that's how that shit down made me. That's how my daddy raised me. That glittering may not be gold. Don't let nobody play me. If you are my homeboy, you never have to.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Kane is in the building.
Yeah! Alright, the show goes on all night. Till the morning we dream so long. Anybody ever wonder when they will see the sun up? Just remember when you come up, the show goes on. Alright.
Talking Heads with Naughty and MJ is brought to you by Burger King, Fine Burger, Naughty Johnny's, Prince Masters, and Tropical Gyros.
Have you ever had the feeling that you was being had? Don't that make you mad? They treat you like a slave. Put chains all on your soul and put whips up on your back. They be lying through their teeth. Hope you slip up off your path. I don't feel that. Put my kicks up on their desk, unaffected by their threats. Then get busy on their. See, that's how that shit down made me. That's how
we're back at you on the Friday, May 15th edition of Talking Heads. Naughty and MJ and your company right up until 6 p.m. 5:06 p.m. is the time. And let me jump back into some of these texts because there's a ton of them. And we got a couple other things to talk about too, man. I want to talk about Mr. Holness' remarks as well. I mean Golding, not Holness, Golden. My bad, my apologies. I think, MJ, you might be on mute.
And I'm back.
There you go. Yeah, I want to touch on Mr. Golding's comments as well, too, but I want to get some of these texts out of the way. Naughty and MJ, I serious, man, if I move to the States, at least I got a return on my taxes. Unless you're lotion in this country under this government, you can't get nothing. I believe Miss Hannah Martin takes delight on being the Minister of Tourism in the remembrance of good old dear friend, the late Obi Rostrom, former Minister of Tourism. Do you remember? Yeah, Obi was one of the best ministers of tourism we ever had. Did an excellent job. Why do you consider deputies' new post as a demotion? Question mark, question mark. Naughty and MJ, I wonder which ministry Leslie Bryce and Sabas will be in. My brother and sister. Go ahead, MJ.
Not eligible because of our laws. Neither is eligible at this point for a cabinet position. So. You heard me say at this point, right? Okay.
All right. We'll make a note. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. My brother and sister, please. PMH is a complete hellhole. Have any one of you been to that horror of a place? You wait there for days.
The last time that I went to PMH, thankfully, I mean, everybody's been fairly, healthy these last few years, but it's been one of our sons. Broke his collarbone. That was quite something. And my sister worked at Doctors Hospital at the time, and specifically because she was not doctors, that I'm PMH. And because she was there, that is the reason why we went there. And we have so much work to do.
Yeah.
As a country. The healthcare, we have a lot of work to do. No, I'm dead serious. We know that the hell that Bahamians have been catching in PMH. We know the hell that the nurses have been catching in PMH. We know the hell that the doctors have been catching in PMH. You hear these stories about shortages. You hear these stories about the physical condition of the place. We hear these stories about pay and hours and so many things. And those stories didn't get more quiet towards the end of Dr. Davrill's last tenure. Those stories got louder. They got more furious. People are upset. And then we're spending money, we're taking out loans, we're doing different things. We're saying, okay, we're going to buy this hospital here. We purchased a hospital from doctors for like 30 million or something like that. Then we got a big loan for this hospital that we've gone into business with the Chinese to build down the road. So we are in a terrible state. And I'm sorry, but I'm glad that Dr. Darville is back there. I'm glad, because accountability has to come due sometimes, right? And you don't get to say anymore. You don't get to say, oh, the last guy left it in such a terrible state and it's taking time and all of this kind of stuff. Because, sir, you now are the last guy. You need to fix it, and you need to fix it fast. Because Bahamians, I think one of the things that we should come to expect, considering all to it, is at least a decent place to be, decent service when we're at our most vulnerable, when we're tired or ill or, need medical attention. Should be in a better state than it is in right now. And now he's on the clock, and him alone.
Good afternoon, Naughty NJ. Is this true what I'm hearing, that the pilot who was flying the plane in the plane crash on the 12th of May this year was not supposed to have a license to ever fly to the United States or anywhere because he was charged, convicted, and spent time in the for drug trafficking? Is this
I think a part of that is certainly true. So here's what the Tribune is reporting. This is under the headline, Crash Pilot Had U.S. License Revoked Over Conviction. I'll just give you a little bit of it. Pilot Ian Nixon, who was credited with helping all 10 passengers aboard survive after a plane ditched into the ocean, had his United States pilot license revoked for life in 2009 after being convicted and imprisoned in Florida 2 years earlier for conspiracy to supply an illegal substance into the U.S. This story in the Tribune, you can check it out there. It goes on to talk about how the U.S. Department of Civil Aviation wanted their license back. They revoked it, and they, had him banned for life. And then they, I guess, wanted their paperwork back. And then the whole thing was in the Supreme Court, and then it hits a dead end after that. So we don't know what the outcome was. I mean, he was flying, right? He was flying. So, yeah, the U.S. definitely banned him for life. He can't fly there. And he was flying here, and there was a fight over the FAA license. It looks like it went on, and then we're not getting much information after that point. But you guys can check that story out. It's in the Tribune. But yes, so a part of what you're saying is definitely true.
Hey, boy, I got a couple more texts. Here we go. You all got them fast and furious today, boy. Okay, here we go. PIA got Labor, Public Service, and NIB. PLP is obviously clearing the way for Sebastian, Major Donut, Chester. Watch out, you are almost finished. Afternoon, Ms. Glover has nothing to do with what will happen at NIB. Whatever the party has in mind is what will take place with NIB. Ministers are not selected for their expertise in the ministries. We need to stop thinking they're the ones who make the policies and remember they're just puppets. Anyone heard?
Okay, I'm not gonna completely agree with that, but I understand why some people definitely feel that way. But yeah, I'm not, just putting everybody down to a puppet. Puppet to who? Puppet to what? Tell us more.
Anyone heard from Pauper since the election? Maybe I missed him, but I haven't heard from him since. Give Pauper a shout out, please. Yeah, Pauper, Pigeon Pauper. Holler at Pauper. Naughty, I love that CIA joke. Great job. Keep it up, Naughty. Yes, MJ Cooper was Tourism Minister of the Year. And now, where's Mark going now?
That's right. He did get a lot of... Thank you. See what I say? We have, the smartest texters and callers and listeners, our talking heads. They have this conversation so much. Thank you very much to do so well and be internationally recognized. And then we're resetting much, but we're resetting this. I got questions. I have questions. Sorry, but I do. And as for the texter, so far, all I'm seeing, I'm not saying that you're incorrect, but all I'm seeing so public service back with Pia Glover rule. Okay, so not much has changed there. Labor, public service, and national insurance. So conflict be damned, we go in that road again. very interesting. But I'm sure she's going to do so. She got a lot of work in national insurance. We know this. But they say that, she's a hard worker. So I'm looking forward to seeing improvements there.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. I think stripped in quotation goes deeper. Demotion. No cowboy games, no more dolphin games, and no more billionaires.
You understand? You understand? Like, listen to me. I love the kids. Right? I do. And I think education is the greatest equalizer. Comes close to it. So I want to see our kids get the absolute best. But I'm going to be real with you guys. If my last portfolio had me flying around the world, meeting the people with the big bucks to try to get some investments in the country, doing all of that kind of stuff, and then y'all say, hey, go deal with them kids. Man, I don't know. I might be like that Michael Jordan meme. That's all I'm going to say. But I love the kids.
Notice they took culture away from Mr. Bullock. Yes, we did. Naughty and MJ, did you all see the press statement on the Grand Bahama Power Company saying that they cannot lower light bills for those Grand Bahamians in the month of May? Brave said he would lower the light bills if he wins, but he did.
I think
Grand Bahama saying something different now. Wow.
I think the word was could. It could be 37%. See? That word could is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence. If you overlook that, you might have some expectations that are going to hurt your heart. I can be real with Grand Bahama. I am going to be real with Grand Bahama. I like to be in Grand Bahama and experience light bills there. I know what it's like to be in New Providence and experience light bills here. Get ready, Grand Bahama. Get ready. It ain't going to be pretty. It's going to hurt.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. My favorite host. Putting Chester Cooper in education is a good way of getting him out of the way for leadership. He now has Belinda Wilson to deal with. I know Sabas is smiling at that move. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. I suspect not much will change with Brave. The response to every question will be, I wasn't aware. And for God's sake, don't bring Sabas as no financial mogul at investments. His money was derived from an illegal industry to which was then granted a monopoly together with a massive no-bid government contract. That's not innovation or financial cronyism. The reason for the switch of Chester Cooper's portfolio from aviation to education was for special interests in the government to push an agenda and directly influence the progression of the entity in the aviation field. Ask yourself, who now is in charge of the Ministry of Aviation? What special interest group is trying to become a notable institution in charge of collecting exorbitant overflight fees? Why go through such lengths to disenfranchise Mr. Chester Cooper and his portfolio? Inquiring minds would like to know.
Yeah. We see the... Well, anyway. Like I said, I would feel a way. And I love the kids. Education, I think, is very important. Like I said, it's a great equalizer. But his area of expertise, and I know someone has said that he was a former teacher, which is great, right? But he spent a lot of his adult professional life in investments, and he was doing well awarded accolades in tourism, for sure, as another texter mentioned. So if you're going to keep almost everything the same and say that there's no resetting, man, this ship continuing on, right? Blowing the horn, let's go all aboard. We moving. Why touch these two? That's my point. Why is that the one that you touch? And tourism is a glitzier ministry. Let's not kid ourselves now. That is glitzier. Like, people want tourism. Education is very noble, but it's a lot of work. It's hard work.
Let me get to these other texts. Good afternoon. Can somebody please tell me why Clay Sweeting is still there? Why did they put him back? Can he please pay the contractors? Question for MJ Naughty. What will happen in the Bahamas if some political figures are arrested or named in U.S. federal courts or indicted?
What will happen to the country?
Yeah, I guess.
The country will go on. I mean, we may, if that were to happen, and I don't know exactly what you're hinting at, but if we ever experience such an event, right, I think that we have enough stabilizing forces in our institutions. We have enough of a stabilizing force in our opposition and stabilizing forces within government. You can't assume that everybody's going to be caught up, that we're going to actually be okay. We'll be okay. And let me give kudos while I mention that to the Free National Movement. I saw the press release yesterday where they all are going to just take a breath after that defeat the other day and stabilize themselves, right? And I think that's a mature way to approach it. They've had like tumultuous years. These past 4.5 years, 5 years have been tumultuous. One of the things people pointed to when they said why they didn't immediately, go over to that side or feel enthused to go out and vote is because of perceived disunity. Kudos on the Free National Movement of approaching things differently. Because let me tell you something. After personalities like Donald Trump entered the political life, the rules have changed. You don't have to do things exactly the old way. You can apparently do whatever you want. So kudos on them on recognizing that we live in different times and maybe you need to take a breath, catch yourself, and then make any changes or important decisions later on down the road when everybody has a handle on what it is you're dealing with. So I thought that was very good to see that their caucus is united. I think that in a kind of weird way, the leader of the opposition, Mr. Pintard, has a stronger caucus now. No offense to the ones who
I look at
there.
it like this. I look at it that the house has now been totally cleaned. There's no more skeletons. There's no more boogeymen. There's no more. It's been done. The FNM came out and a statement such as a unanimous vote of confidence for Mr. Pintard, returning him as leader. Now, obviously, conventions will come up. Mr. Pintard welcomes them. But like you say, it speaks of unity. Number one of the major issues that voters did not come out to vote for. That takes care of that. And he does have a new squad, a new team. And a lot of the members on this team were all picked by him. And he got a lot of youth movement in there, too.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I look at it like a sports team. You had a good draft and you got some plug and play rookies that could go right in there and play from day one. And you got some experienced veterans coming back into the fold, being able to play with their experience. It's a good mixture. And they got some vociferous characters in there, man.
And the thing that I think is interesting is that you didn't react too quickly, Now, once you do your assessments, you figure out what it is you're going to do, you look at your options, so forth and so on. And of course, you're going to have conversations and you're going to strategize, but it shouldn't be coming from a place of immediate hurt, pain, or anger. And then the next thing you know, you find yourself in a worse situation. So kudos on them for learning a lesson that sometimes you need to take a breath and then give it a little time and then reassess. But ironically, I think he does have a stronger caucus because, let's be real, he was operating without the support of Killarney in his caucus. He was operating with losing the support of Central Grand Bahama. Well, now he has both of those back. There's more persons that can maybe help us to understand exactly the perspective of the party and their stance on different things. So I actually think sometimes when you lose, you win in other ways.
Let's get to the phone lines. Talking Head.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good day, Mr. Naughty and MG. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Fine. Sometime in life, there's something called cleansing. You have to cleanse the house. And you have to cleanse. And today, the FNM is much better off than they been 7 days ago. Minutes gone. The torn on their side gone. Hiram gone. The traitor. And now we are placed with two female, dynamic young female up and coming.
Oh, yeah, that is really good. That is
in the
good.
party. And I must give credit to Miss Michael Ella. She fought a hard battle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
She went against
Michael did well.
3 candidates, including the government.
He's strong, yeah.
And former prime minister. And she defeated them. You must give it to her.
It was not an easy task, but she did get that job done. She did well. Very well.
And Pintard won a seat overwhelmingly.
He did.
Yes, we need to unite behind him now. One leader, and one way forward. Abraham Lincoln made 9 attempts, U.S. president. On the 9th one, he won. Made 9 attempts.
And made history.
And the things
he did. That's right.
He freed us. He saved our British slavery. He signed it. Abraham Lincoln. After 9 attempts, he became U.S. president. So you have to support and encourage Mr. Pintard.
Thank you very much.
All right. Let me get to the other calls. Any other calls, Mr. Producer? Talking Heads. All right, let me get back to the text. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. The first thing that the Minister of Tourism should do is walk down Bay Street and get it cleaned up.
Yeah. Great idea.
Naughty and MJ, has the law changed? LB, Leslie Bryce is now a minister tuning in late. No, MJ was explaining. Go ahead.
You know, the law has not changed. I'm not aware of any changes in the law. So as of right now, I think we'll see a similar situation as we see. Miss Leslie Miller Bryce will find herself outside of the cabinet again. But so will Sebastian, right, who's the newcomer everybody's keeping an eye on, our MP here in Fort Charlotte. He's also going to find himself outside of cabinet right now. But guess what? They already had, Mr. Davis did, a gutsy make cabinet. Now you have people who coming back for their second run, and I'm sure some of them are eyeing more responsibilities. Like they want to, you know what I mean? They want to do more. But there's literally no space because almost everybody was returned. Are you going to drop some people? Like they're not going to be ministers anymore? That last batch is going to be really interesting. And then we don't want a situation where you make the cabinet even bigger than it was before, and you end up with a bunch of, or you make them parsecs or whatever. You don't want a situation, right, where the backbench is completely crippled. Because there's already been the argument, and legitimately so, that we don't even have a legislative branch that functions as a legislative branch because the vast majority on the governing side are in the cabinet. And so it's almost like the cabinet the executive is basically running, the whole country, but they're kind of embedded into the legislature. I know that, we can have, if we did things a bit differently, we can have 3 legitimate branches. We could have the executive do their thing. We could have a legislature that does its thing, They're not supposed to be lockstep with the government necessarily. We need some scrutiny too from those backbenchers, but you don't really get it because most of that is the state, and then you have the others that are the backbench. You have the parliamentary secretaries around there, and then you have everybody either a chairman or this or that, and they just don't seem to act or function as if they, can even think independently of what not just the party, but the cabinet is saying. Right? Because everybody won't get there. So nobody won't ruffle any feathers.
I'm telling you, some feathers gonna ruffle and some feelings gonna hurt. I'm telling you, you can hear some protest.
Nobody won't ruffle any feathers. And then the tricky thing about it is you don't often see someone, some of them maybe, but you don't often see people sitting there for 10 years and don't even have a path to get up.
Right.
Because the cabinet full. Where y'all going? You know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting. I think they said that Patricia DeVoe is going to be returned as speaker, but we'll see. I got to wait for those official announcements. We'll see.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. What's happening with Brian Pinder? Is he retiring? Obviously, yeah, I think he's retiring.
I do believe he is, because I think he said his time is up. And let's be real honest about Mr. Pinder now. He ain't he probably one of those souls does a job and then say, you know what? I need a little break, a little change, a little something different for a while. Don't forget he left the cabinet the last time. I think that's 2015 when he left the Christie cabinet because he found an offer he couldn't resist. So I just think he's one of those persons that maybe does something, burns strong, and then takes a break and pivots for a while, and then maybe he'll come back. But I think he's probably done. We'll see.
You're going to get a kick out of this one, MJ. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. On Tuesday night, I officially seeded from the Bahamas.
What?
I don't have nothing to do with these people.
Oh, say what?
They seeded tonight. The PRP administration refused to answer any questions in the last term. We rewarded them. We can only hope God grant them a change of heart. The decision was easy. It's time for action and consequences.
Yeah, I'm still there like Oliver with the bowl, right? Can I get a little bit of transparency? Can I get a little bit of accountability, please? Which is ironically enough, transparency about election finance reform and so forth was one of the things that Mr. Golden mentioned in that Observer report.
I wanted to talk about that. Let me get these other 2 texts out of the way, and then we can talk about that if that's good with you.
Yeah. Let's go.
MJ, I was so happy Dr. Minnis got beat. I'd rather be out of power without Minnis than with him in the House. I would love to see Deal and Ellis move as part of the leadership team. The FNM must hire a social media team with young persons that can connect with the young people as we fight for the lost, left behind, and the forgotten. Your boy Howard made some suggestions for the FNM party way forward. Further, the COI still exists, and I don't know if they will go away easy. So start reaching out to these people, and do not think you don't need them, because the numbers don't lie. I don't understand why people believe the Gaming Act precludes anyone with financial interest from sitting in cabinet. People should read the act. There are certain financial interests that are prohibited and others that are not.
Listen.
All it takes is the right way of organizing those financial interests.
Yeah, I get what this person is trying to do, and I am not going down that road with this person today. I have extensively read the act, and I'm not going to be one of those persons that you're going to be able to bounce around or make a facade of divestment with, and I go along and I say, okay, yeah, no, that looks fine, that looks great. There's a reason why pulling a gaming license are precluded from serving in cabinet. And if you want to turn a blind, you could go ahead and do that. But I'm not on that run, and I'm not even going to agree with that. I have read it, and those persons are outside of cabinet as they should be.
Next text, Jerome Fitzgerald, question mark. I have questions, and the DPM seems to have been demoted. He doesn't seem like the kid type. Okay, then?
No, I'm sure he, come on now. Someone said he was a teacher. So I'm not saying that that is not going to like I'm just saying, let's be real. If you were flying all around the world, getting investors in, dealing with tourism, that's kind of like, it's not an easy job. Make no mistake about it. But when you've made the inroads that Mr. Cooper has made, when you've gotten the accolades that he's made, perhaps he looked forward to continuing on that. That's what I'm saying. But now he has to pivot a little bit, quickly catch up, get acclimated, because you do have the issues with the unions. You do have issues with the teachers. You do have a national grade point average that is a D, and that's not good. So I'm just saying that he has to kind of start afresh and get the job done in education. And if it were me, I would probably want to continue my work in tourism. But who knows? He may actually, like it. In any event, I think he has great potential to do big things in education. Innovation part, the science and the technology part, the things we're seeing with AI and robotics and all these types of things. I think he has great potential to do great things in education. So it's not like it's a loss for the Ministry of Education. But if we're being honest about it, and I think we should be, the glitzier, more glamorous position that gets you more face time, not only locally and globally, is tourism. Let's be real.
Norty and MJ, I like the team of Pintard, Rollins, and Thompson. Lord, please don't let Patricia DeVoe be returned as Speaker. No, Lord, step in this time,
Y'all know Madam Speaker coming back. Y'all gonna love it.
Norty and MJ,
Madam Speaker coming back.
Norty and MJ, mark my words. Rollins is back for Brave. Okay. Rollins back for Brave. And that brings us to all the text is complete. I love it. Let's go to the phone lines real quick. Talking Heads.
Hey, good afternoon, Norty, and good afternoon, MJ.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey, I mean, you like the appointment they put Gladys Hannon-Barton to tourism?
It's interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting because one thing Bahamians have been talking about is the proliferation of these private keys. And she's made it known that she doesn't necessarily think all of these private keys and these private enclaves are good for us. So maybe good for the Bahamians.
But let me say this. When she been to road traffic, she didn't handle that right. Tourism.
Yep. Big
carpet. I think Chester Cooper did a good job there.
Why do you think he was moved from tourism?
Because
I don't know why. Why do you think he was moved from tourism? Because I don't understand why.
Question. And then who you put there? See, Gladys Hannon-Barton, like I say, her past performance in the minister with licensing the cars and whatever, road traffic wasn't good at all. And now you can put her to tourism, our big industry, number one industry. I don't think you should play around tourism with somebody who, I think they should leave Cooper right there. If they want more from education, put somebody else and put it somewhere else. I don't think she can cut that tourism. You know, that's the way I see it. You heard anything when they put the national security?
No, they didn't announce it today.
Okay.
Wow, that shocked me too.
That's a heavy post. You see, like I say, our main industry is tourism.
Tourism is the breadwinner.
Chester proved that he's a business guy. He know how to maneuver. You can't put, I don't know. But we can see.
Yeah.
All right,
thank you, God.
All right. Appreciate you. All right, MJ, before we get to the break real quick, let's just address the comments of Mr. Golding, former PM of Jamaica, regarding our elections and the processes and so on and so forth.
He mentioned a lot of things that are really important. He talked about the boundaries and constituency commission concerns, the gerrymandering concerns.
And this has been an ongoing complaint. This is not the first election that they've covered that they've complained about all of this.
Yep, he called for an independent elections commission that went to referendum and was rejected, but maybe it's time to do that. The biometric voter cards, glad that he talked about the political culture and all of the toxicity, specifically, the social media, personal attacks, the trolls, all of that. Yeah, he pointed that out. He talked about campaign finance and money in politics and talked about needing campaign finance reform, which I agree with, very important. He talked about media bias and ownership concerns, specifically when it comes to the public broadcaster. He talked about how, there isn't equitable access.
Breaking news, breaking news. You have to research it on the break. Naughty and MJ be in trouble, y'all. Miles LaRota is national security.
Man, y'all. I thought they were done with the announcements for the day. Are y'all being serious or y'all joking?
You joking, right?
Listen to me. Y'all got me playing around with national security now. I can check it out. I'll check it on the break. Let me just finish with Mr. Golding's recommendations, which I think were good. He also talked about with private media. This part stuck out to me in the report when I read it last night. He says, quote, the group also received reports of the close relationship between the owners of private media houses and the main political parties and perceptions of biased reporting, end quote. That is significant. And I think a lot of Bahamians definitely have those concerns. They touched on the advanced poll problems. We know what those were. Election day administration, which was pretty good, right? But then now we know only 50-something% came out. So yeah, you managed that. Women and youth and disability inclusion, talked a little bit about that. Says they need to deepen youth confidence and participation in democratic and electoral institutions. He talked about the lack of domestic election observers. Very key point. Talked about how y'all was setting up y'all tents, ignoring the 100-yard rule. Yeah, I saw it. Ballot security and counting procedures. Did you see him on the news yesterday when he's like, man, y'all using wax and sticker and glue and...
Yeah, fully done.
That was fully done. I was so embarrassed. I was cringing every time he mentioned something this is embarrassing, right? But he also, I think gave us a lot of credit for some things, but mostly he gave us great institutional warnings. And I think people shouldn't shrug their shoulders or get mad at someone coming in and saying, hey, listen, we've been coming in here a while. We've been telling y'all for a while. I don't even know why we wasting money borrowing with y'all no more, because y'all ain't trying to do some of these things that are very important for your people. You know what I mean? So I don't see why people got upset. The part, and I saw this on the news yesterday as well, but he talked about, basically buying votes. And I want nobody lie like we didn't see some stuff happening that definitely should not have been happening. He said, why bother campaign when you can just pull out a calculator and figure out how much you could afford to spend to basically buy votes? That is embarrassing. And we know we saw some things happening that should not have happened. How much seriously they're going to take this report and the other ones that are coming, we'll see. But they have an opportunity now to do the right thing for the Bahamian people. This administration does.
Let's get to the phone lines. Talking heads.
Hey, good afternoon. Evening, Naughty and MJ. Listen,
good afternoon.
Yeah, listen, I think what Chester Cooper have, Ministry of Education, a very challenging ministry. So, and then don't forget, we have the Prime Minister. Hopefully I think his word was that he is going to do 2. Now, either if he doesn't do 2, then Chester's in a bad position for him then to continue to try to get a 3rd term, which he is in the and then it's competition. So he has to shine whenever they go. He has to now work. If he was in the Minister of Tourism traveling, he ain't got to work with the stalwarts to solidify his position for the next post, which is the Prime Minister. So he has to be in country, and education, he'll have to be in education. Make sure that the stalwarts see him, he connects with them. So maybe this is a part of it. And I think tourism is an easy ministry. You all give tourism too much credit.
Of course it's easy. That's the point. But you got to it's very important because it's our number one industry. And he was shining there. He was shining. I mean, I get your point with hobnobbing with the stalwarts, but I mean, he could fly around the islands and do that too.
Yeah, but tourism is easy and that they have this huge budget. And listen, the technocrats run the ministry. All they do is put Chester in the positions, link him. I say, he was the best. Don't forget the Fire Festival under him. All right, and where the Bahamians were not getting the same kind of award that he was giving out to those people and all that money we lost. So he was in the greatest ministry. That's an easy ministry. There are other ministries that are easy. I think public service is one of the hardest. So, but again, I think if a lot of these ministries can run without ministers. If it was possible, we just put people in position, they'll probably run even better without these ministers who have interest to ensure that their people get whatever. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
All right,
I just want to say, though, that he did also have investments in aviation. So think what you may. I still maintain that tourism, of course, we all know tourism is very important. It's our number one industry. But that investments part was important too, right? And that seemed to fall a lot bit in his wheelhouse. So why move him? Why move him now?
We got to get to the break. Let's get this last call in before we get to the break, and then we'll go to the break. Talking head.
Alan Johnson, please short, quick, and hurry. Not to defend the Ministry of Tourism, right? Just first of all, we have 45 different models. The government claimed they trained 25,000 people. The problem is they never trained the 25 people to enter these 25 different models. So somehow there has to be an education thrust because you can have 1,000 people trained and not prepared to enter into these new economy models. So that's a huge task of redefining the way the economy goes forward. But when you talk about Ministry of Tourism, that's a self-functioning greasy machine who simply needs they have their own budget, their own resources, and they're supported by the tourism boards, Paradise Island, New Providence, Old Island, everything else. So it just simply needs a minister that pushes government policy towards Bahamianization and ownership. And so considering that that's what her forte, because each time we bring the cruise ship in, we lose 28 every stopover visitor is equal to 28 cruise people. So if you take the whole 12 million cruise people and convert them to stopover, that would only be 430,000, and that's not even their hotel room, that's just their spend. So when you look at the economic impact, so we need to reverse that bleeding with the ideology. So you need a minister that pushes stopover visitors and ownership economy, and she's supposed to carry the bloodline of the architect of Bahamianization. Let's see how she does.
Yep, and we're rooting for her. We are.
All right, Sally, good stuff. Let's get to the break. The flip side of the break, we're going to talk some sports. We got NBA playoffs tonight, Eastern Conference, Western Conference. I'll give you your baseball scores for the day, the upcoming games for the night, and I'll get you ready with my pro picks. And don't forget to join us each and every Sunday at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the Press Box right here on Guardian Radio. 2 hours of full sports talk. Keep it right where you got it. We'll be right back right after the break.
Cause a brand that the fans trust, so even if they ban us, they'll never slow my plans up.
KFC has a bold new flavor you'll love. Introducing the all-new Barbecue Rap Star. We're talking a juicy chicken breast filet, fried to golden crisp perfection, covered in sweet and smoky barbecue sauce, topped with cheese, then wrapped in a delicious toasted tortilla with flavor in every bite. Go spicy or keep it original. Either way, it's a star for a reason. The new Barbecue Rap Star is the star of the menu at KFC Nassau. Get yours today at any KFC Nassau location. Association.
Refined style with elegant taste, then fine threads is your place. If you want those slacks hemmed or just taking the waist, then fine threads is your place. If you wanna look suave and debonair everywhere you go, like you're supposed to be in a video, wanna step out and look great, then fine threads is your place. Refined style with elegant taste, then fine threads is your place, is your place, is your place.
Craving something bold, fresh, and unforgettable? Tropical Gyros is your flavor-packed escape, a Carib-Greek fusion born right here in Nassau. From juicy grilled salmon, chicken, and pork gyros to loaded bowls, fresh salads, wings, and more, there's something for every craving. Find Tropical Gyros at any of their locations, JFK Plaza, Rosetta Street, Port Lucaya Freeport, or their franchise spots on Prince Charles Drive, Soldier Road West, Delaport, and Carmichael Road. Tropical Gyros, not just good food, it's an experience.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Join me, Naughty, Earl the Pearl, and the rest of the crew from the Press Box each and every Sunday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. right here on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM as we talk sports. All of your Major League sports, Major League Baseball, the NFL, and the NBA each and every Sunday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. right here on Guardian Radio. It's the Press Box. All the sports, all the time. See you on Sunday.
Turn a trip to Burger King Nassau into a galactic adventure with the Mondo and Grogu Whopper Combo, featuring special shake fries. Whether you're a bounty hunter in training or just here for your way, Burger King Nassau has everything Mandalorian and Grogu related you could want. Grab the toys, the mugs, the crowns, and your crew, and head on down to BK and celebrate the Mandalorian and Grogu adventure with Burger King Nassau. This is the way.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
We're back at you on the Friday, May 15th edition of Talking Heads. Naughty and MJ and your company right up until 6 p.m. And we're talking sports now. Let's jump on in. Major League Baseball schedule for tonight. 15 big games on tap. Starting with the 6:40 games, the early games, the Phillies and the Pirates, Blue Jays and the Tigers, Orioles and the Nationals, Reds and the Guardians. Then the 7 o'clock games, Marlins and the Rays, Brewers and the Twins, Red Sox and the Braves, Yankees and the Mets, Cubs and the White Sox, Rangers and the Astros. That's the 7 to 8 o'clock territory. Kansas City, the Royals take on the Cardinals, 8:15. 8:40, Diamondbacks and the Rockies hook up. 9 o'clock games, you got the Dodgers and the Angels at 9:40. Padres and the Mariners at 9:40. And the Giants and the Athletics at 9:40. 15 big games on tap tonight. You definitely want to check them out. Lots of baseball to watch. A lot of interleague play, too, which is very interesting. And, of course, if you like the WNBA, several games on top in the WNBA tonight. Early games, 7:30, the Aces and the Suns hook up. The Mystics and the Fever. And the 10 o'clock games, you got the Tempo and the Sparks, and the Sky and the Mercury. And then, of course, in the in the NBA tonight, two big games on tap. The Pistons and the Cavs in the Eastern Conference semifinals and the Western Conference semifinals. Cavs lead the series 3-2 in the East. I like Detroit to somehow pull this one out. I think this series goes 7 games. Cleveland's a 4.5-point favorite. I like Detroit plus the 4.5 in this one, to tell you the truth.
I mean, that'll be interesting if they can, make it happen.
I think, this series has been back and forth, Slobberknocker. I think the Pistons push it to a game 7 tonight. And like I say, whoever comes out of this series is going to be lagging to take on their opponent, the New York Knicks, who've been resting comfortably after sweeping VJ Edgecombe and the Sixers in the first round.
Yeah,
and let's move over to the Western Conference, your bracket. I like Wemby and the crew to knock it out tonight, even though they're on the road. I like them to cover the 5.5 points. I like them to win the game. And I like them to get out of Minnesota 4-2 and head on to the Western Conference Finals to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder, which should be an excellent Western Conference Final.
Yeah, I already have my Spurs jersey on. Just waiting for the time. Waiting for the time to pass.
Listen to y'all, boy. Listen to y'all.
Hey, I had to be quiet for how many years? Like, why should I be quiet now?
All right. Good afternoon, MJ and Naughty. Great show as always. You guys are doing a phenomenal job in informing the public and holding politicians' feet to the fire. Let's remember it was Minister Glennis Hanna Martin who was instrumental in getting us to receive fees for over here airspace being used by international flights. She's an attorney by profession and moving into gives her an opportunity to create a lift that this industry needs. As for DPM Cooper, he's an astute businessman. He's self-made and understands economics tremendously. Financial literacy is not being taught in government schools presently, not from a young age anyway. Excuse the gratification, but don't drive in text, but thank you for listening.
Thank you. And I actually think he made a great point there, I tell you this. Sometimes when you think you don't have an opportunity to shine, you get an opportunity to shine. Even brighter.
MJ, you always tell these politicians pride cometh before a fall. Be careful the Timberwolves don't bite the Spurs in the bungie.
Oh, no, don't turn it around on me. This is my one little chance. Like, y'all know how long we've been in the wilderness. Can I just enjoy it, even if I'm delusional? Even if we end up, well, we're not going to lose. But, just let me have my little moment. But, yes, I am so sorry. I apologize. I need to calm down and, just slow my roll. I getcha.
Wait till they jump on you now with these Spurs. Don't let the Spurs win no championship,
Don't let us lose. Boy, they'll be on this line. So I might have to take the day off. I can't manage that.
All right, let me have a gander at the NFL. See if there's any breaking NFL news for my NFL lovers. NFL right around the corner. Schedule released yesterday. I'm thinking Week 5 in Tampa. MJ, Cowboys. Bucks in Tampa.
That'd be what, in October?
Yeah, maybe for your birthday.
Maybe football stadium, right? Like I've never been, but I know you went there and you said that's a really good. They have cannons and their cannons actually go off, right?
Correct. Every time the Bucks score, the cannons go off.
You need to bring them down here, help us with our cannons. That's the only thing that was crazy on that ice show speed stream. The cannons. What happened to the cannons? Anyway.
And guess what? Plenty footage from the Bahamas still circulating off of speed, because he ended up getting some of the best, of his trip. Here in the Bahamas.
He went down to Exuma, was swimming with more sharks. I mean, he did a good job out there at Stewart Cove. And that was, because, I'm not even doing that. I'm glad he had it within him to do it, because I am not doing that. But, yeah, the footage was beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful. We have the best water in the world. We know that for a fact. Not even debating that. And I'm glad that he was able to show, a little bit of our culture. Let's be real. Some things could have been a little different, a little messed up, a little janky in some parts, but for the most part, it was a good stream.
All right, I'm looking at this schedule, and I'll be honest with you, MJ. A lot of people still up in arms over the schedule, the NFL schedule. But I'll tell you something: Wednesday night football may be coming to the NFL. The NFL says that they're going to kick it off again on Wednesday night to open in this season. If their ratings are what they anticipate them to be, they're going to add a Wednesday night game starting next season. You might be on.
I'm sorry. You're telling me every day we almost at football every night at this point?
Right now, when the season kicks off this year, you'll have Monday night football with the NFL. Tuesday night college football, Wednesday night college football, Thursday night NFL action and late college football, Friday night college football, Friday night lights, multiple games. Then you have Saturday college football all day, Sunday NFL all day, Monday NFL all day. That would be such a beautiful thing. And then when they go next season to have a Wednesday night game, then a Thursday night game, oh my God.
Oh my word. Yeah, all right.
That is why I say the NFL season is the most wonderful time of the year. Forget that fat boy in the red suit.
Maybe Tampa for sure. We've managed over the years to take our kids to the professional games. We've gone to some baseball stadiums, gone to some basketball stadiums, but usually it's school in session whenever we do football. But this year we're gonna take our youngest to his first live football game. We're gonna make it happen somehow. Hopefully.
Yeah. And all this already tell me,
gotta start
don't worry
saving
about
up
that.
now.
I got a hockey schedule that I want to see. So obviously,
Hockey one of these days. And maybe in the future we go to Europe and watch some
La Liga.
La Liga one of these days. I have all these things on my bucket list, and we're gonna work hard and try to make some of these things happen.
Awesome stores. Let's get to the phone lines and wrap it up with this last call. Talking Heads.
Yes, good day. How you doing?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. You spoke about the Mr. Cooper going to education. I have seen a few teachers posting, indicating that they're excited about that change. So,
oh, good. Oh, that is awesome.
That's good to know.
Oh, I like
really
to hear that.
Excited. So I don't know why, but then on top of the College of the Bahamas, so it's not just
right, UB
and whatever. So there's a lot
correct.
that can do.
BTVI.
Yeah, there's a lot, and then there have been strikes in straight throughout, not just with Belinda, but BTVI and the University of the Bahamas.
Yes.
And so it'll be interesting as to what he can do throughout to improve that. And then I know at one point the government was trying to borrow. They were looking at investing $90 million into the prison. So maybe he can do something with reform so that they don't have
I like that.
many of our young persons don't have to
I
take
love
that route.
that.
So
yeah,
that can be. I guess he has. The portfolio is really big.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of work. I agree with you, but the potential is there to do great things.
Yeah, and based on what he's done in tourism, there's no telling. With that kind of mindset,
sky's the limit.
He can make some wonderful things happen in education. But also with the response, the feedback from international persons with reference to their concerns. How can we as citizens, not just sitting there, he said this is year 3 for I think 1 or 2 areas, how can we as citizens, and just some ideas as to what we as citizens can do to push the government in the right direction as to, hey, we don't want it looked like you said it was some things were really embarrassing.
Yeah.
What can we do? Can we write letters? What can we do? Can we just continue to talk about it? How do we really, when our country is having an issue that we really don't like or we really want to see a change in, how do we as citizens, what can we do? What can we, realistically do?
Well, I would suggest, the activism portion of it, write your letters, get your petitions.
Yeah.
There's a body of, for example, teachers that have issues come together with a unified body, present your complaints, present petitions, protest if needs be, you know what I mean, peacefully. Take those steps.
You know what we're going to do? Because this is overdue anyway. We're going to get Matt Aubrey from org. We're going to get Matt Aubrey back on the show, friend of the show. And we're going to ask him that exact same question because I have some ideas, right? Like I write letters a lot. I'm sure some, people annoyed with me because I write letters. But yeah, we should all be participating and there are things we can do. So I promise you, caller, that we're going to get Matt Aubrey and other persons, stakeholders in this space in on this show. And we're going to talk about exactly that because I'm with you. We're not going to sit around for 5 years and just be like, okay, well, we're waiting for the next election. No, this time around, we need to be more active so that we can get the changes that we need to see in this country. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. Good call. Thank you.
All right, and that brings us to time. Mr. Producer said that's our time, MJ. So, for everybody who chimed in, called in, texting, good stuff. MJ, this is your boy Naughty wrapping things up. Join us on Sunday for the Press Box, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. right here on Guardian Radio. And have a great weekend. And remember, actually, we'll be back to being Bahamians now.
We are Bahamians. And I go to watch my Spurs. And if my Spurs lose, y'all don't have to worry. Y'all will not see me or hear from me on Monday. So, yeah. I know some of y'all rooting for that now, but I'll be out.
And whenever y'all
I'll be quiet.
And whenever y'all want to start yucking down all these campaign signs from whatever political affiliation party, whatever, you start yucking them down, please. Okay? Thank you very much.
Great weekend, everyone.
Monday, right here on Talking Heads.